Good day, champions. I'm K.R. Henderson. If you're listening to this, I want you to understand something. You're not late, you're assigned. I wanted to discuss direction is the assignment. If you don't lead them, something else will. But this one right here might step on some toes because we live in a time where kids, they don't know what they want to be. And we ask them all the time, what do you want to be? But before we could ever take the time, really, to see what they already are. And I'm going to say something that might not be popular. Kids don't always know what's best for them, but somebody has to make a decision. Let's walk this out. And when I say kids, I'm not just talking about age, I'm talking about development. Because you can be 10, 15, even 20 and still not have the experience, the discipline, or the perspective to properly direct your life. And here's the part that we don't talk about. Even when they are ready, they still need direction sometimes. Because with the experience that you have and I have, we've already paid for this wisdom, and it costs way too much, far too much, for us not to pass it on. My friend's son graduated from Howard University. He teaches music. But that didn't just happen. Somebody saw something. Somebody made a decision and stayed with it. Now, let me bring that a little closer. My daughter, first job, church summer program. Next job, daycare at the gym. Then daycare at another gym. Now she's got a master's in education and she teaches school. Now me, I wanted her in business, ownership, structure. You know the drill. And I admit I was seeing what I wanted to see, but not what she was. I'll never forget this. I used to sing in the male chorus at church. Yeah. And we hoop, play basketball before every rehearsal. So my oldest son and my daughter would go with me. And they'd always be there running around playing in the gym. And the men in the choir would come up to me and say, man, you need to put your daughter in track. I was like, track? I ain't really thinking like that, right? But one day, we're in the gym playing basketball like we normally do. You know how kids are, they like to play tag. They'll touch you and take off running. Well, she did that to me, and I took off after her. Now, I tried to be cool, jog and catch her, but I realized real quickly I had to flat out run because I couldn't catch her, and she was 7, 8 at the most. And that was when I saw what they saw. She would go on later, after I put her in track, to run in 4 or 5 Junior Olympics, and she medaled and won. And you know, when you talk Junior Olympics, we're not talking local stuff, state meets. I always tell people, if your child in summer track can get out of Texas, California, or Florida in track and field, well, the competition is different. It's steep. They're already champions before they go. But the lesson for me was I didn't see it at first. Other men saw it. Then I saw it. Then I directed it. That's how direction works. Now, let's go a little deeper. My boys, I put them in boxing. 13 and 11. Why? Well, I wanted one of them to get punched in the face and the other one to get a bloody nose. Now, I'm just kidding. But I saw something. And I'll tell you what I saw, and I understood something. Something needed direction. One walks around with a chip on his shoulder all the time. That needs discipline, right? The other one, mild, easygoing, affable, a follower. That needs confidence. Two different kids, two different directions. And I've seen this outside my house too. I've got a partner. His son is about 6'6", 250, 260. Yeah. And he told me one time, he said he had a basketball goal, and the basketball goal got blown down by the wind. And he didn't put it back up. Now, most of us would have listened to our wives and put that goal back up, right? And the way he explained it to me, he didn't want it back up. He may not have saw something, but he knew he didn't want him to play basketball, right? And let me just say something here. His sons now play for the Green Bay Packers right now, tight end. I'll let that sit with you. But I'll clean it up even further, because it's not just one or the other. Sometimes you see something and you direct it. But sometimes you don't see anything clearly yet, but you even give that direction. And sometimes you see nothing at all, and you give that direction too, until something reveals itself. Because children are not qualified, contrary to popular belief. Children ain't qualified to lead themselves. They don't have the perspective. They don't have the discipline. They don't have the experience. And we know this. You let them run the house one weekend. Now bedtime is optional. Dinner is snacks. And somehow everybody is still hungry. So when you ask them, what do you want to be at 5, at 10, even at 20? Sometimes we're asking people who don't yet have the tools yet to answer the question. So what do they need? Direction, not control, not pressure. Direction. Because a child's focus becomes their direction, and their direction becomes their life. So if you don't give direction, you're not giving freedom. Actually, you're giving confusion. And we're seeing this in this NIL era, right? For those of you who watch college sports, in the NIL era of college sports, kids are getting paid real money, having autonomy, freedom to move. I don't like the coach. I don't like my playing time. I don't like the city. The money. And now, like, whew, a puff of smoke, they're gone. Transfer portal looking like a group chat. Everybody just leaving. No explanation, just, I'm out. No patience, no endurance, no development. We're giving young people freedom before we give them foundation. And I remember this too. I talked to a dad once. This was when I was playing more pool than I care to admit. And I remember watching him. He would be in the pool hall, and he would abruptly run in and out, sometimes in the middle of playing, to take his son to practice, back and forth, giving him direction. Years later, I bumped into him, and I inquired about his son, the one he was running back and forth, taking him to practice, picking him up from practice. And he told me something. He said, Ken, they wanted to draft him out of high school. Now, most people hear that and hear and say, that's the dream. But mom and dad, they were against it. He had a full ride to Rice University, and they made him take it. Some people don't even have the respect of their kids enough to listen, even when you give direction. And that's not just on the child. Respect is built over time, through consistency, through presence, through how you move As a father, you can't show up one day and start directing. Make no mistake, when you hadn't been leading, dictating and leading, it ain't the same. This is where assignment and execution shows up. Some of us think you're leading, but really you're just loud, and that ain't leadership. That's surround sound, right? Anybody can dictate volume, control, because I said so. Yeah, you said so. But they ain't listening. But leading, that requires presence, consistency. That requires relationship. One gets compliance, the other earns trust. You see what I'm saying, gentlemen? Dictating might get you quiet in the room. It might. But leading can get you respect when you leave the room. How about that? But when it's there, when that foundation is there, direction carries weight. And in his case, it changed everything. He graduated Rice University, then he got drafted and went on to be one of the top 5 third basemen in the MLB, Major League Baseball, for at least 5 years. His name is Anthony Rendon, and his dad's name is Rennie. See, that's direction. Not just opportunity, not just talent, direction. And just because an opportunity shows up doesn't mean it's time. It doesn't mean it's time. I mean, if a good deal comes along, it's really not a good deal unless it's a good deal for you. That's direction. That's what direction does. It protects timing. And that's what we're missing right now in this NIL era. Everything is right now. Everything is my move, my decision. But nobody's asking, is this the right time? Think about it. I mean, here you are playing for a top 5 basketball, NCAA basketball program. You sitting behind an All-American and 2 seniors that have gone to the Final Four. You go to the Sweet 16 and you decide to jump in the transfer portal. For what? Sometimes it's just not your turn yet. And you getting paid really to develop. Because direction isn't just about where you go, it's about when you go. Now, none of this is new. Make no mistake. We've assigned men, fathers, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he won't depart from it. It didn't say ask him. The instruction was to train him. And it also says, we know foolishness is bound in the heart of a child. They don't come with focus. They don't come in focused. They don't even come in disciplined. They come in unrefined. So if foolishness is in them, right? Think about it. And direction is not given, guess what? Foolishness becomes their direction. Now here's where it gets deeper. Purpose has already been deposited. You don't have to go find it. You don't have to recognize it. I mean, you're not on a scavenger hunt. Purpose is not hiding like you almost found me, no. And your job as an assigned father is to guide them toward it. And let me say this clearly. Success is obedience to purpose. What's been deposited inside of you, what's being given to you, late fatherhood, late purpose, uh, late marriage, what have you done with this? This doesn't have anything to do with your neighbor's success, right? This doesn't have anything to do with your boss's success. And I'll say this. I believe in God because I was given a belief system at an early age. But I trust God because I have an existential presence of his provision. So now, not only are you responsible for your answer, you've got children who are going to answer it as well, based on your direction. If we neglect to train them, something else will. If you don't guide them, I promise you something else will. They're going to move. The only question is, did we give them the direction, or did you leave them to their foolishness? So, yeah, sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. But either way, you give direction. Because purpose is already in them, but direction, no, that's assignment. And I'll say it again. Don't think you're late. And some of us may have been undirected in some areas, but now you're assigned. Let that sit with you. This is K.R. Henderson, Second Wind, truth with oxygen.